Is BritCard A Psyop? Have you ever noticed how a single confident voice can flip a whole crowd on its head? We have already seen massive eruption against the BritCard, this new digital ID push from Keir Starmer's government, meant to fix immigration, but is actually a Trojan horse for a complete digital surveillance nightmare. 3 million signatures, protests in the streets, even Labour MPs are jumping ship over fears of a checkpoint society. It's unified rage. Finally, a lot of us are mostly unified on something. But then out of nowhere, some sharp-tongued analyst drops a bomb. This whole anti-BritCard wave, it's a psyop. It's a distraction. The real digital change are already locked in through backdoors like GovUK1 login with 11 million users hooked already. And boom, just like that, chunks of the resistance start nodding along like, yep, we were duped, it's deeper than we thought. And suddenly, the fire that could have torched the policy fizzles out into endless rabbit holes, keeping us chasing shadows instead of swinging hammers. It's narrative jujitsu, turning our own momentum against us. Now, why does this land so hard so fast? Because in a world drowning in distrust, that bold aha moment feels like cracking the code. Like you're the clever one, spotting the matrix whilst others bleat on. We latch on to the critique that promises insider savvy, even if it just splinters the fight and buys our enemy more time to roll out the full digital ID prison. The lesson: next time a confident takedown whispers, "You're being played," pause. Is it arming you to win? And what are the end results of you believing this? Do you feel a fire in your belly, ready to take action and stop the plans of evil? Or are you left feeling hopeless and deflated? Defeating BritCard would not be the end. It would only be the victory of one battle in a long war. But you know what our enemies fear the most? Us recognizing that we have the power. Once enough of us know we can win, we will tap into wells of power we didn't even know we had. This is why so much of our enemies' efforts are centered around demoralization, instilling feelings of hopelessness, because someone who believes we can't change anything and all hope is lost will not take action to stop the plans of evil. Anyone who has been around since the COVID activist era or before will know we can stop their plans, and we did very successfully throughout COVID. Even with endless cries from a tiny segment of the truth movement calling everything a psyop and the protests nothing but controlled opposition, whilst they sit at home and do absolutely nothing to stop the steamrolling of an evil agenda destroying our society, we still carried on. And who knows how far our enemies would have gone if we didn't fight back. The most prominent example of this was the victory against COVID vaccine passports, which I cover in a video. You can find it on this channel. We need to be laser focused on one battle to win. Now, this doesn't mean that we can't look at other things going on, but we have to focus most of our efforts on one target to defeat that, and then we can move on to something else. This agenda has been many years in the making, and much of the digital prison has already been constructed. But imagine what would happen if nobody objected to the BritCard. Keir and friends would just steamroll ahead with it, and the digital prison would go up faster than you can say fuck digital ID.
No digital ID!
No digital ID!
Woo! Big ups!
I also mentioned this previously, but such a bold attack on our society was done in a move known as shifting the overtone window, where the scope of our held beliefs and what is acceptable is stretched, and then we righteously get activated by this and say no, but then we're much more likely to accept a lesser version of the bold claim. This is played out for decades in the demonization of CO2, for example, where endless cries of it being the deadly killer gas set to destroy us all may not be believed by all, but the more rational people then assume, well, it probably isn't good, right? Because it's getting all this massive negative attention. They're saying it's going to destroy all life on Earth. That seems a bit too far-fetched, but I'll accept that it's probably not good because they're saying it's this. When in fact, the truth is actually, it's the gas of life and we want more of it. Trump also does this as a very effective negotiating tactic that's actually quite obvious to see once you see it, but so many people don't question things, right? We know that with truth of movement, right? But he makes a bold claim way beyond what he actually wants, and then the opponent rejects this, but are much more accepting of a new middle ground, which was actually the goal all along. Kiyosama has just done this again, but this doesn't mean we just call the whole thing a psyop and don't stop it. No, we as individuals and as a movement have to get wise to how this game is played and channel our efforts effectively. It is correct to be outraged at BritCard and what it would mean for the ending of our freedom. Then be wary of a mandatory scheme being scrapped in favour of a voluntary scheme at first, then eventually 5-10 years down the line it becomes mandatory or something like that, right? We must understand this isn't just about defeating BritCard. It's about defeating the entire evil agenda, and that is going to take some time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. This has been going on for longer than all of us have been born, and who knows how much longer this is going to go on for. But what we can do is defeat parts of their agenda, and over time we will secure victory. But it doesn't mean that we just call everything aside and don't take action to stop what's happening. The thing about BritCard is, for once since COVID, it's something that's united enough of us that we've put aside many of our differences and come together to work on one common goal. And that is so crucial, that is so important, and that is so hard to achieve, because we had that throughout COVID, and the moment COVID vanished, it was extremely difficult to get people to unite on one cause. Because we all have different priorities, different things affect us to different varying levels and so on. But this is something that enough of us have suddenly realised that, look, we need to unite on this issue. And this is why I think it's so important that we keep up the incredible momentum that we've got so far, and we can defeat BritCard, and once we have, we can move on to something else. And again, doesn't mean we have to just only focus on this, but focus most of our attention on this and understand that it is important to fight back against this. And then as well, in our own lives, not comply in every single way that we can, because the digital prison is being rolled out in a few different ways, as has been highlighted, but it doesn't mean that the fight against BritCard is not a very important fight to be fighting. And how do we win, people? We win once, and we give the people a taste of victory. We show them it can be done, and we move on to the next target. We achieved this throughout COVID, but people perhaps have forgotten, or many people weren't actually so involved, they didn't see how we had victory in that era, but we did, and we can do it again.